Are you ready?
This is Suge D, the existential journeyman grappler. I love a lot of things, but I love wrestling. You love wrestling. We love wrestling. And that's a show enough right on. What you say now, Chuck? We love wrestling. That's a show enough right on. That's right. Two things about Moxley even in 2010. You just knew he got it in a way that was very different from everybody else, even back then. Because that was around the era of everybody wanting to, that started becoming the era of everybody wanting to do moves on moves on moves on moves. Because we had just started cascading up to like the HD net era of ROH. So then Evolve and Dragon Gate USA started kicking in. So then they were trying to take it even higher than that. So they were trying to go even crazier than that. Mox was Mox. Mox liked to tell stories. Mox liked to bleed. Mox liked to brawl. And I think it helped him out even on the indies because it's like, y'all can do all that. I'm going to do what I do. And it worked. And he had awesome promos too. The second thing was it could have been very easy for him to be very selfish because he knew he was, going all the way to the finals. I think he lost to Sami Callihan in the finals. Yeah, he lost to Sami in the finals. And he could have easily just like not put in work and saved it for like the finals.
Right.
But he really was trying to put something together, and we did. And the spot that's clipped on my Twitter right now, and it's the only spot that he fought for in the match. Everything else was just, which is crazy because it was like, you really fighting for this? That's why I say you don't know people until you know people. Like people on Twitter be wanting to say, well, he would never and this, that. You don't know people till you know people, right? If anybody sees that clip and wants to get mad about him going for a slam dunk off the second rope, that was all Mox. He wanted to do that. So he gets the ball and he's checking it off of me and he's hitting me upside the head with it. And then he's like, all right, man, I'm gonna dunk this shit. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, all right, but if you do it, I gotta do one thing. And it's like, what? Like, are you familiar with the Mutombo? He was not familiar with the Mutombo. He was familiar after that match. He goes for the dunk. I get to jump up and just, let's get up out there and be like, one of those. And then I start to come back. But like, super giving, super easy to work with. And I just remember coming backstage and everybody being like, whoa, we didn't know you had that in you. Yada, yada, this, that, and the third. That match was such a surprise. Yada, yada, this, that, and the third. I remember riding the high. I remember going back to Georgia being like, yo, this might be the one, man. This might be the one that people needed to see. It's like, this might be my 2 Chainz on Mercy. You know what I'm saying? Like, this the one where I snap. Like everybody be like, yo, we gotta watch for this 2 Chainz dude. You know what I'm saying? This might be my Eminem on Renegades. Like, everybody got their moment where they snap and then people pay attention. And then it didn't drop. And then it was 6 months later. And then it was a year later. And then it was an extra on the Evolve DVD. And then Evolve slowed down. And then Evolve became a WWE property. And then Evolve closed. And then I went to England. And then I did AEW. And then I did all this stuff. And then I went on Tumblr. And before you know it, 2010 turned into 2022. And I'm looking at my match. And I'm having a crisis of identity because I'm looking at all this stuff that's happened. And the good and the bad that's happened in 12 years since then. And shit, sorry, I just need a minute. I'm looking and I'm thinking about all the good and bad of that moment and everything that's changed in 12 years. And I'm looking at that match and it's just a kid and he wanted it and he knew the gravity of the situation. And he knew the pressure to perform, and he knew that you got the eyes on you, and this is going to be what changes everything. And I wrestled my fucking heart out. And I'm proud to be able to finally look at that and know, like, yo, I held my own. But it hurts. Because, he's doing great. And that's got nothing to do with him or anything like that. He was going to do great anyway. He was on that trajectory. But I think about so many times where it's like, if that match don't get released or that clip don't go viral or that promo don't get put out or if that don't go out, how does this change the trajectory for somebody?
Right.
It might have not done shit for me for that match to ever seen light of day. It might have just been like, oh, okay, cool, nice match, move on. But we'll never know. And it feels like too little too late 12 years later. Like, it feels like a lost tape. And I don't mind putting it out for people to be able to see it, but it's like, where was that match when I needed it?
Right.
In 2010, when I was hoping to try to get something going? Where was that in 2011 when, I actually was on a somewhat discussion basis with like some companies? Where was that in 2012 and 2013 when I was doubting what was going on, when I just got out of Chikara and I was trying to figure out what my next steps were and I was trying to get into bigger bookings? Where was that even in 2016 when I was trying to figure out if I had it in me to try to switch with the times and switch the style up and to drop the basketball stuff and everything like that? Because it's like, you know what, you'll be fine because you can go. You were in there with one of the absolute best when it was happening. Mm-hmm. Where was that in 2018 when I was wondering like what was going on? 2019 when I got off the plane, and had it not been for the Alex Shelley match, when NWA was just like, nah, we changed our mind, because at the very last minute, the day after I got off the plane from England to go do that 4-day set of tapings, Billy Corgan sees the final list of talent and scratches my name off of it. Where was that when I needed to remind myself that I've got that kind of performance in me? And I didn't have that. Like, I've had matches like that, but I really needed to see that. Mm-hmm. And I really needed other people to see that. And that was rough watching that match after like 12 years. I wish I could tell you I was like excited when I watched it, but it's like when it was over, I hated that it was good. Like, I hated that it was good. Like, it made me wish it sucked. So it'd be like, okay, you know what? Glad nobody saw that, because that would have messed me up. But like, it was actually good. I've seen people get bigger opportunities off of like not as good. And not talking bad on anybody, get it how you live, but it's like, yeah. So, jeez. I know that was like a data dump, but that's my first time being able to like verbalize it out loud to somebody. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And shouts out to John Moxley. I thought the world of him as a competitor anyway before I had a chance to work him. And that was cool of him to still remember even after all that time and everything like that. He's earned everything that he's got going on or whatever it is. It's just if I had to say two things in closing about all that, one, guys, if you feel like you got something special that needs to be out there, you hustle, you threaten, you choke out whoever it is that you have to make sure that sees the light of day. Because I hate that never saw the light of day. I absolutely hate it. And I don't even remember what the second thing is right now. I'm still kind of processing that.
Damn.
Why you process that? Like, I be in this situation nowadays because there's be some matches out here, and I go see shows and I record them and everything. And some companies be like, nah, you can't put the match up. And then I'm sitting here and I'm waiting. And I'm like, yo, I just told y'all this match was a banger. But you release it like 7 months later, even 3 months later. And people have forgot about that and moved to something else.
So it's funny that you say that, because the times are different, and I talk about that a lot too with people in the locker room, because you got to remember my time frame, your time frame, and that's where I think a lot of vets go wrong, because wrestling is always so much about, well, back in my day, that's great. Mm-hmm. Take the stuff from your day that applies, but remember, it ain't your day no more. Either you pressing with what's going on, or you a relic. And you need to step aside while everything else is moving on. I don't want to be a relic. So I look at what applies, and then I carry it forward. 2010, it was a big deal just to even have YouTube. You know, you could upload 23 minutes now on YouTube. Like, back then, it was a hard 5 or a hard 10, and that was it. You know, like, it was no church in the wild back then. Streaming was still Streaming was still like a very young thing. The thought of somebody even trying to stream online was just like, you sure? All this other stuff like that. Yeah. And like, for that not even to circulate on DVD, you know what I'm saying? Like to not even find circulation on DVD or be like a video on demand on the site. Because, you know, I could talk about my stuff all day, but that tournament as a whole was awesome. And everybody put their foot in that tournament. And there's a lot of performances that are lost to time on that tournament. And granted, some people made out good anyway. But like, I'm thinking about all the people that really could have used that being seen, or just to reinforce the fact that like, yo, this is some awesome talent that they put together at the time. We were the ones to look at that time.
They dropped the ball.
I don't want to be the guy to say it. I'm gonna leave that for the world to say. But he's absolutely right in his assessment that things move faster. Like I could have got 3 or 4 months later and it would have been okay because we were used to that cycle back then. Like Smart Mark needed time to process the DVDs and all that other stuff like that. It was a trip when we got a turnaround of a day later for like King of Trios. That was a big deal. But now you're absolutely right. Everything moves so fast. There's streaming service for everything. Everybody wants to know where to stream at. You can download. You can do this. You have, you have direct to video, video on demand, all this other stuff. Yep. But everything moves so fast, and the cycle is so fast. You might get your flowers for that day, and then they dead the next day because the next greatest match has already happened. So he's absolutely right. If it's popping, you have to put that out. Like, you have to put it out immediately. And it's hard to reheat something. Like, you may have a month tops if people are talking about it like that. And then otherwise, that's it. Unless you got a clip that's so viral, it keeps that match relevant.
Yeah. I mean, you got to post the same day. Some people post as the match is happening. Like, the match just happened in a couple of minutes.
It's a wild hustle out here right now. And like it's like that social media is so important. So like, shouts out to Wrestling with Unicorns, shout out to Hokai, shout out to yourself. You know, shout out to just a lot of these, like, you know, Jim. One of my favorites is Jim Breaks Armbar on Instagram. Like, there's a lot of good accounts. You know, Sir Lariato, he was doing it for a long ass time. Catch Wrestling U. There's another one that I really like as far as it goes. TDE Gifts, shout out. I really like they're keeping the world going around. People don't even know it, but they're keeping the world going around. Like with them gifts and them clips, it's important. Yeah. Now, it's created a bit of a weird culture because now people are doing it for the gift. Because back then, like 2010, you had to have the right match. Now you gotta have the right gift or the right promo or the right phrase, and now it's like we'll run it up. Go on, book him. We'll see what happens. They was ready to make Luigi Primo the one, off of that gift, and then because I don't want to talk about what he got going on. All I'm gonna say is like the internet investigators. Sometimes stuff be out there like. He went from like oh God, this go crazy to like, oh God, he's on AEW, it's about to go up, to wrong piece of information came out. Grand opening, grand closing. I wish him the best. No, I'm dead ass. It happens like that sometimes. It happens like that sometimes. Like the wrong thing gets said or the wrong tweet go out. I done had him go after me once or twice over the years. It is what it is. It happens. You know what I'm saying? Like, the cycle is crazy.
Yeah, social media is a trip because it can get you views, but it can also fuck you up.
Don't get too many views because they gonna come for them.
Right. It's a law, but it's a law of averages. Like, if 10 million people are feeling you, there's gonna be 2 million that hate you, and it's like we get so caught up on the 2 million that ain't feeling it, and it's like, hold on, let's come back to this other 8 million that's like down for the cause. And the crazy part is, and I see this with all media, you got, like, okay, so I'm obsessed right now with She-Hulk. I'm loving that show. That show is excellent.
I haven't watched it.
Let's go.
I think you'll love it.
Yes, you will. You'll like it, man.
You'll like it.
I love action movies and Marvel movies.
Right. It's Marvel's first like sitcom-ish kind of like. I'm so used to all the Marvel shows having like these stakes where it's like the world is going to end if something don't happen by the end of the season. And She-Hulk ain't like that. It's just we're going to have some fun. We're going to get into some stuff. So people going to beat each other up. She going to wear some outfits, and then we move on to the next. It's great. It really is. So the thing is, there's a lot of hate on She-Hulk online. But the crazy part is they just came out with the ratings for She-Hulk, and it's the most watched thing on Disney Plus. And I'm noticing a big parallel between shows that get hated on like heavy and like how they're viewed and the numbers that they pull and stuff like that. So it's like, are y'all just watching? Like, y'all realize watching the show is keeping them in business. Y'all watching the show to have something to hate on, and it's like, my thing is, it's like with some of these shows, it's like if you subtracted the people that hated on the show, like if they just didn't tweet about it, didn't talk about it, didn't watch it to find something to hate on, this, that, and the third, would the show even still be on? Because you're gonna lose half the fan base because half the fan base hating.
I guess publicity is good no matter what.
Half the people hating on Top Gun. Top Gun made $1 billion. Like Tom Cruise, almost 60. He up.
60, that's right.
2013, what they always used to say, the most talked about thing on social media. And I used to tell people like, yo, all you got to do is mention them on social media. They don't care if that's good or bad, but when they go and look, here go how much we get mentioned.
Who we talking about now?
You remember in 2013 when WWE started saying the most talked about thing on social media?
Oh, yeah.
Factoring in like good or bad comments, and right then
they were just, that's all they care about because they were getting the impressions.
You getting there? It is all they get is the impressions.
Know that publicity.
They get the impressions. So it's like, so when people see that and they want to advertise on the tweets and all that other stuff, they just see it's getting engaged. As long as it ain't nothing where the account getting canceled or they as an account are talking trash. Thanks, I'm up. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate it because the true death is when they don't speak about you at all.
Yes.
You ain't getting no likes. You ain't getting no engagement. Then it's like,
who you?
Ain't nothing to happen. But it's like that. It really is.
I have one more question, and it's not even wrestling related.
Cool. I love those. What's up?
I'm a big foodie, so I like to know what people like to eat. So I would love to know, what's your favorite dessert?
Oh man, why you had to do that? So I like to tell everybody, and I've been on it. I've been on that incline treadmill for like the past like little 2 weeks. I'm gonna stay on. So I'm getting a little. My tag partner up in Canada, he like ripped, like he carved out of wood, so it got me like, nah, man, you ain't even gonna have me looking a certain type of way by comparison. I'm not gonna be Denzel's buddy. Yeah, I'm not gonna be Denzel's friend. You know what I'm saying? While you out here looking like that. So, basically, but I got one of them bodies where it's like, I'm athletic, but I will fuck a plate up. You know what I'm saying? I will do it. If we're talking about my favorite dessert ever, I'll give you my favorite dessert ever and then an honorable mention. A properly made creme brulee. And what I mean is, because of course you got to do that blowtorch to get the sugar right on top and everything like that. I love a creme brulee because there's so much that's factored into it coming out properly. You got to even start with just making the custard underneath right, and that's a task unto itself because it can't be too fluffy and it can't be pudding. It can't be that either. Then you got to mess around and you got to put that glaze on top and everything like that. And then you working with a whole mini blowtorch to make sure that's right. You overdo it and you tasting the burnt, and this ain't hot dogs or hamburgers. You can't just burn a dessert and it tastes right. Like that's jack. But it has to be just burnt enough for it to hit that little flavor real quick. And then if you don't burn it enough, it's just like liquefied on top, and it's terrible. But when all the elements come together correctly, it's like this impossible dessert. But when all the elements come together correctly, it's the best thing in the world, man. Like I take forever eating one. Like I really do, because one, it's good. When it's good, it's good. And two, like I'm just in marvel that this even got made. You know what I'm saying? Like I love it. It's complex, and I love that. My two honorable mentions. I actually bake. You know, I cook and I bake and stuff like that too. Okay. Honorable mention to pecan pie, especially my grandma's pecan pie, which I had to learn how to make that joint. Woo!
Shout out to the pecan pie.
It's been a while. It's been a while because I know I'm gonna take that fall. But you know, you gotta have the corn syrup. You gotta do all that. That's one of the ones you can't use no substitutes. You gotta have like the butter. You gotta have the You got the butter. You got a corn syrup. I don't want no organic nothing. I want the straight corn syrup. I need all of that.
Unhealthy stuff is the best tasting.
Right, and I know it's gonna taste on point when I don't see no measuring cups. We don't do no measuring cups. You just throwing stuff in there. You measuring by eye. That's how it's supposed to be. Yeah. The other honorable mention is tiramisu.
Ooh.
Proper tiramisu is just yes.
I can make a banging sweet potato pie, but that's.
I mean,
yes.
Okay. Props to you on that. Any kind of scratch made any type of scratch made is on point. Sweet potato pie isn't necessarily my favorite. I think sweet potato pie is it depends on what you garnish it with. That's what make it.
Oh, I don't garnish mine because it tastes. Oh. It tastes that good. You can eat it while it's hot. You can eat it while it's cold. It's delicious.
She bragging on us though.
I am bragging.
Like, you don't need it. That's like when somebody make a steak. You don't need to put no sauce on it. Just dab. Just when the juice come out, just dab it. There you go. Like, okay, that's a compliment though. That's a compliment though.
You have to find out.
like, hold on.
Next time I see you, Trey,
yo,
I'm gonna bring you up.
I don't like bringing up. I don't like. This is another person that got banished to the Shadow Realm, but I don't like bringing up Romulus Khalees. You could probably put together. He's a famous R&B singer. I don't like bringing up Romulus Khalees a lot, but that said, there's a joke that I stand behind no matter what. One of my favorite things in the world, and like I'm not knocking it. It just is what it is. Y'all, everybody got that big dude friend that like they just be breathing hard, just standing, but when they start talking about food, the breathing just started kicking in like extra hard. So he was like, man, she over there talking about she make that from scratch. So you cut the potatoes yourself? Yeah. All right. But the line I always quote in that voice whenever I do it is, oh man, she making sweet potato pie hot and fresh out the kitchen. Man. Oh yeah. You don't have to put no whipped cream or nothing on that. Oh, just be smacking when they talk about the food. I'll be like, yeah, man. If they don't talk about the restaurant like that, I don't want to eat there. Like when they put over the restaurant, that's what. Yeah, man. We went to the Pearl Onion the other day. That thing was good. They had gravy, lobster mac and cheese. Regular mac and cheese, Salisbury steak, and then they had the regular steak. And then when I was done, I took the ice cream and I put it. See what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. That's how you know.
I'm picturing myself eating these things.
Yeah. Yes.
Thanks.
Yes. But if they don't talk like that, I don't want it. That's how I know they talking about some food. It's the passion they trying to. But I used to always mess with my boy Derek like that. I said the Ignition remix, your favorite song, ain't it? He said because they talk about the kitchen all up on. Man, shut up. I don't always be talking about food. That's low, man. Why you talking about that? That song really good, but
I'm still
when we eating
Romulus Khalees, man.
Yeah, I gotta do like like when Chappelle was talking about Juicy Smollett, when he was talking about the other dude. I like to do pseudonyms or just not bring the name up at all because
I still have the music on my iPod, but it's because I paid for those songs.
Sure.
So I'm like, I skip them, but I'm like, I'm not deleting them on principle.
And it's so rough with Kels, man, because like he's so especially for black folks, because he's ingrained in the culture over decades. So it's like you're not gonna escape a moment in your blackness without him being involved. Even if it's just behind the scenes, he there. Like he is there. He's been there.
He was my graduation song when I was in 6th grade.
Space Jam. All them little choir songs, all that. My prom. It's rough, dude.
Yes, he's intertwined, so it's rough to like not picture a part of your past where that wasn't involved. So I get
how you make a song that good about a city that don't even exist. And you know a song talking about Gotham City.
Hey, yo.
That song, I was like, that made me want to be from Gotham City. I was like, could you imagine that when the mayor rolled through and that song come on? It's like, man, make you proud. Like, highest crime rate in the country. You over there, and I'm just, City of Justice, City of Peace, just rocking, just, man. Because we all need to see, I got to stop. See.
Hey, okay, let me
I was about to say, because Twitter will flip that too. They was like, man, they was over there putting R. Kelly over there podcast.
You know how they've
been looking for something like that.
Out of context. Trey, you gonna get canceled.
They was over here praising R. Kelly on their little podcast and everything like that. We got to shut all that down. I do not, hold on, let me make sure, quote me on, I do not condone a damn thing that Romulus Khalees was doing in his personal life. Two things, this is the part that Twitter don't understand. This is two things, this is the thing Twitter need to understand. Two things can be very true at the same damn time. He is as talented as anybody that has ever existed in the realm of R&B and songwriting and singing, but he also is a piece of shit. And the two can.
Yes.
All right.
Agreed.
All right.
Well, Suge, I'm passing it back to Trey. I appreciate it. This has been so much fun.
Thank you, dear. I'm just hoping, we gotta enjoy this time together.
Yes.
This is what I brought you here for.
Oh God, what you got? It's how he sat down. He like, I got this thing over here.
I got this little thing over here. I want to play this for you right quick. Then I'm gonna let you talk about it.
All right.
Let's turn that up. Here we go. There it is.
I don't feel enough people talked about what he just put together down there at Uncharted Territory. Yes. Yo, he put you talking about stories, you know what I'm saying? Talking about storytelling. Like that motherfucker is probably one of the best storytellers. And like we don't give enough credit to, right?
Not only that, is like he's really doing like, I want to say like very advanced storytelling.
So Mr. Suge Dunkerton. Uncharted Territories.
First of all, who was that?
That was from our excerpt with Hoodfoot.
Okay.
Uncharted Territories. Leading up to before it started, I had a lot of people on talking about we're gonna be at Uncharted Territories, tune into it, the IWTV champion. I'm watching IWTV, Uncharted Territories come on. And I won't say you just started raising hell. But
that's what I say. I'm about to say, just call it what it is. That's what I did.
You just raised hell the whole season, a whole build up, accumulation. Then you had then you got beat up at the end. But it was a great storyline that went down there at Uncharted Territories. Like kept me invested. I'm like, damn, what are you gonna do this week? They done kicked him out. He's showing back up. He say he leaving. He's showing back up, beating people up. Like, can you just express how you felt about that right there? Because I didn't feel enough people talked about it, and I thought it was like summer of shit. And
so So I already knew what time it was. Not to be that guy, but we're gonna call a spade a spade. Like, look, if I stand behind a statement, it's because I'm waiting to either be like, okay, I'm not like a lot of these cats online who I'm gonna make a statement and then I'm saying it just to be able to say it, and I'm not willing to hear another end of it. I just need you to come with your facts on it. So whenever the other 3 seasons of Uncharted Territory were going down and they were up north and they were beyond base, heavy retweeting, this, that, and the third, people getting featured on Dark, doing this, doing that, getting booked everywhere and everything like that. The South still got something to say, especially when it comes to professional wrestling. And I knew what it was going to be. I knew we were going to get looked at. I knew it wasn't going to be at the height of like what Beyond was doing with Uncharted Territory. But regardless, I was proud because I think it was the best storytelling. Because we know Beyond can do matches. We know they can do matches. They've been doing matches for a long time now. A lot of companies don't know how to do narratives or long-term storytelling or produce characters. They can just put out matches. I mean, that's cool. There was long-form narratives. I remember sitting down and talking with creative and just being like, well, for one, y'all aren't going to come to the South and do this and then not have me a part of it somehow. And 2, I don't want to come through just doing no one and done type of stuff. I'd like to engage in a story. We didn't know that the story was going to run all the way through. It just got over. So like it kept me on. So that was fine. And I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I loved it. I love getting to work with everybody that I got to work with. That version of me, which I've been doing at Action, and I guess more companies have started seeing that, like, oh, because I've gotten more companies being like, we want that version of Suge. Like they want evil Suge, I guess, or whatever it is. No, but I mean, that's what it is. But any character I do or any facet that I show of myself, it's got to be entrenched in some form of reality or how I really feel. And that came around from Action because there were real feelings about how I felt in terms of how I was viewed or what my place was in the South. Like all the places that I've been, all the stuff that I've gotten into, carrying Georgia on my back, all this other stuff to that effect. And it's like, but y'all will champion this guy and this guy, or they'll get one little match outside and it's hooray for them or whatever it is. But it's like, I can't get no love. So I ran with that. It's like, I'm not going to go on Twitter and complain about it. I'm going to try to make some money off of it. So that's back to that conversation that we had offline about that situation that we talked about. It don't matter how I feel about it outside of that. If I'm going to bring my feelings into it, it's because we can make money off of it. And we found a way to make money off of it. And then we led that into where we were going over here in Uncharted. But I think that's a very special thing that was going on over there. I hope it leads into something where they get something along the lines of do weekly or at least some kind of specials to go through, because that was good episodic storytelling that was going on over there. And it made a lot of different characters. It splintered into a lot of things. Merrick Donovan was like a hell of a foil to be able to work off of that. I got to work with Damian Tangra, who I think is just supremely talented. I done pulled Alex Kane into under the wing, and he's already doing some stuff. But like when I tell you Alex Kane is like voracious in terms of like wanting to be good and wanting to be better. I'll wake up and it'll just be a text message from him late at night and it'll be a question about something. And I may not answer him right away, but it's because I want to give him a thoughtful answer, because it's like this dude was really up at 2 a.m. asking how he can look more menacing in a match, or like what's a good thing to watch or whatever it is to go through and whatnot. It's like, how can you not want to help somebody like that?
Right.
Like, I know he's going to be good. He's good already, but I know he's going to be great. But that's what I think about it when it's all said and done. It's like I took a lot of those elements of people don't know I have this kind of performance in me. And it's like, I'm going to show them that I got this kind of performance in me. And I think I've got a lot more of that to do for whatever time I've got going and whatever places want to use me or whatever it is. But I guess more people don't talk about it because I just like talk about this a lot with people too. Sometimes your flow is in waves, right? So sometimes you'll have a lot going on, but it's just people that ain't really paying attention to that. Again, this is back to the whole music game. There'll be a rapper like, okay, great example. When Wale first came out, everybody was like super high on Wale. You know what I'm saying? Like, his first 2 albums came out. I wonder what was the one that had Pretty Girls and all that other one, like that first one that came out? Attention Deficit.
Yes.
Attention Deficit. So Attention Deficit came out, pretty big deal, and then he followed it up with Ambition. That was the one that had Chain Music, Lotus Flower Bomb, all that other little stuff like that, you know. So everybody's just talking about Wale. Wale's at the tip of everybody's tongue. He's getting every feature in the world, yada, yada, this, that, and the third. So, but that's like that big radio play, all that other stuff like that. You would ask people about Wale sometimes, and they would act like the dude wasn't doing anything just because he didn't have songs readily on the radio. And Wale been busy. You know, Wale been touring. Wale got stuff out. Wale got fan base. Wale got Wale Mania. Wale been popping up on different stuff. He got artists of his own, all this other stuff like that. But people get in their mind that if you're not on the tip of everybody's tongue with every little thing that you're doing, like you're not moving and you're not pushing forward. And that's not the way to be, because there's got to be a time where some stuff calms down. As a matter of fact, sometimes it is better, because if it calms down, it gives you a chance to be able to bounce back up. There are some people that ride this high so much it turns into hate or oversaturation, because God, I'm always seeing them and everything. It's getting so annoying. I see them all the time and everything like that. I feel like The Rock is starting to get a little bit of that with Black Adam coming out. Like, people are like, what, does he got to be in everything? Does he do this? He got to do that and everything. And it's like, they mad at you for being successful. They like, that ain't on Rock for working that hard and getting up every day. Like, Rock is a tequila salesman, an actor. Like, you remember the headlights from In Living Color? He's like, I'm the pilot, the co-pilot, the stewardess, the engineer, the runway attendant, the dude. He does everything. Y'all mad at this man for working hard? Like work like hard. Where I don't know where he find the time. Like he don't never stop. And they mad at him for working hard and getting the fruits of him. So it's like, if you got hate for The Rock, you ain't above that. You ain't above catching no hate. So I'll have waves in my career, and I haven't been around this long. If you don't have waves where stuff chills out, I'm busy, but it may not be stuff that you're necessarily in tune with or people talk about. And then something will spike up, like AEW will end up coming up, or I pop back through it Beyond, or I'm doing Progress or something to that effect. So then there's a whole bunch of talk. And then, of course, you got people that are like, well, where has he been this whole time? I've been here. I've been doing my thing. I don't necessarily yell out of like a megaphone that I got this going on, but I'm busy. I'm working. And I feel like I'm in one of those kind of times right now where it's kind of like that. I'm busy, I'm steady, but like stuff is going on, and then something else will come up, I think, eventually when it's all said and done. That's, to me, proves who really wants it, because then you see who really lasts. Because there's a lot of people who say they want it, and then when the wave is down or some stuff don't pop off like that, they disappear. But me, in this business, I've always had respect for like the Doug Williams of the business, the Jerichos of the business, the Christopher Daniels of the business, the Eric Youngs of the business. Those are the guys who've been around for the 10 to 15 to 20 years. They've been the opening match. They've been the tag guy. They've been the comedy guy. They've been the main event guy. They've been the hardcore guy, William Regal. They've been commentary. They've been this. They've been that. They have longevity. You can't just get rid of them because they can do everything. So I pride myself on, okay, if you need a villain, I can do that. You need a good guy, you can do that. Technician, I can do that. If you need somebody that can talk, I can do that. I try to be as good as many things as humanly possible. That way there's always a spot for me. Some people just want to do their spot, and that's cool. Everybody's not meant for the longevity business, but at the same time, you also got to be real about the fact that when your usefulness has dried up with that particular spot, what you got after that?
That's rough.
I mean, but it's real. Sometimes your run is your run. Like, you have your 3 years and then that's it. Sometimes you have your 25 years and that's it. But it just depends on what kind of work you putting in on everything.
putting work in. One of my last questions here, Suge.
Sure.
We got to ask it. We've been at numerous events and we talk afterwards of
Always.
everything. But one thing that I constantly see is no matter what, you find the time to take out because other wrestlers there come up to you and they ask you, hey, can we go over the match? Hey, can we talk about what you saw in the match? And you mentor them. Like I remember, I can't remember the event. It might have been a Paradigm event, but it was me, you, Daniel Garcia. That's before he got signed to AEW, and Ron Bass came up and asked, hey, can we go over the match? And he was like, yeah, just give me 1 second. I got you. It was the same night he gave you his UK things right over there. Plush doll. He only had like 100 of them. I got one.
Yeah. The limited edition.
Yeah, the limited edition. I got one of them. But how does it? Because you already do a lot, and it's like you're gracious enough to talk to everybody. So just putting that knowledge out to people and everything. From my perspective, I want to know from you, not from my professor, from your perspective. Since I always see you mentor, who's like 2 guys that you don't think enough people are talking about, or they should be talking about?
One of them is gonna have to be a collective. So Culture Inc. Like we talk heavy about them, kind of like down the Georgia way and everything like that, because like Action Wrestling and whatnot just thinks the world of Culture Inc. when it's all said and done. Hell of a tag team, hellacious as singles competitors. I know people have talked up Eli Knight heavy when they get that. Like Eli Knight is one of them cats where it's like you see him once and you don't forget him. You know, like he's got it like that, and he's one of those ones that makes you wonder why you don't see more of them. I tell the 3 of them, it's like if y'all really want to kill it, move out of Florida. Florida, where careers go to die, man. Unless you signed like on the Indies, it's rough. Like it's rough being from Florida and trying to get on. But Culture Inc. is definitely a big one for me because as singles, as a unit, everybody, including their manager and everything like that, they got something really special and they light it up everywhere that they go. I just don't think they get enough play everywhere they should be when it's all said and done. And they need more play, like in the most serious way, because they could be causing like some real static for a lot of people, like in a good way. Like they're licensed to print money, I think. And then in terms of I guess I got to go back to Alex Kane, man. Like, and I know what you're thinking. Alex Kane got a contract, so it's like, how could he not be getting talked about? At the same time, Alex Kane will do indie events, and it's like he's the guy they want to lay down, you know. And it's like this is a dude who shouldn't have to be. That shouldn't even be in the question. You should be asking him if he's okay with if he wants to lay down. Like his mental aptitude is really good. He's constantly getting better with every match. He's trying to figure out how to tell stories as he's going through the matches. He's pushing through. He's only getting better. And it's like, even though he's on MLW, it's like it somehow feels like people still don't get the picture about him yet. And there is like a very, 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 very big picture with him. Only other person I probably would think of too, because there's so many people I talk to on a regular basis, but Derek Neal, I think, is a cat who's been out there for a good long while. And he's just so good at everything right now. Like he's so locked in on his game right now, and I think he really needs a shot. He's getting more shots at more places, but he really could be doing more. When people were having that little grassroots campaign about him doing NWA, he's the kind of guy that's like, why are you not calling him up to do some stuff? He could really make some stuff happen over there if you really gave him the opportunity. And BK Westbrook, man, that dude is drippy. I like him.
Real drippy out here.
Yeah.
You said something that almost triggered me, man.
I get worried when people say that word. Hold on.
Not like that.
Okay.
But these indie promotions bringing out these a lot of wrestlers that's known out here, and sometimes it's us the black wrestlers. I'm gonna put it out there.
Okay.
And they want them to take the pen to some people they shouldn't be taking pens to. Have you been in? Well, I'm not gonna ask. Have you seen a trend of this? Because I'm like, you bringing in somebody who's been on TV, but you bring them in to get somebody over in your area, but the person in your area still is not getting over even after they get this win.
So, okay, valid question. So I have to give a certain kind of answer about this because it's bigger. It's a bigger problem. I respect any company, any mentor, any trainer that's teaching the business of business and not just like how to bump and all that other stuff, but like the actual business behind the business. And let me explain that. You gotta have them conversations, and you can't be scared to have them conversations about certain things. I remember talking to Alex one time. It's like, dude, I'll say some stuff in jest, but if I'm being serious with you, I'll let you know in between the laughs. It's like, I'm like, dude, how many times you plan on laying that? Because there was like a streak where we were on like 4 or 5 shows together, and it's like I felt like he was losing like every match, and I was like, bro, like he was open weight champion at the time too. So I'm like, bro, you plan on winning any matches anytime soon? I mean, like you got some weight to throw around. Like, I got the open weight title. You gonna have to talk to me before you put the underline under the other dude's name. Like, we gotta have a conversation. And you have to sometimes know when and how to protect your brand without being an asshole about it. It just comes with the territory. If you're bringing me out, like they used to talk about how Sabu back in the day, Sabu would do 2 things. He would charge less. He would no, not 2 things. It's one thing. I'm confusing it with somebody else. Sabu would charge the promoter. He would always want to know if he was going under, or if he was going up before he even took the booking. Based on if he was going under or if he was going up, that's the price he gave. He would charge less to go up than it was to go under, but he understood at the time, I know my worth and I know my mystique. If I lay down for somebody, you gonna have to come off a little bit more. Because you start taking too many pins, people don't start taking you seriously. I hate to do this because people will do that whole number. Well, it's just wrestling. They're just matches. You should be more concerned about the match and, bangers and all this other stuff like that. I hear you on one end, but on devil's advocate, because it'd be the same people who say this over here. But when we come over here, y'all are mad about who didn't go up, who didn't go up, who went under. Y'all are always basing people's push on they have to win every match or they have to lose every match. Sometimes it's not how you win sometimes it's not winning or losing. It's how you win, how you lose, which is also very important. But at the same time, there was like a period with Dolph Ziggler for a little while. Super talented performer, all that other stuff like that. There was a point where people just weren't caring because they knew Ziggler could have an awesome match, but he was never going to win. So the drama was never there. He didn't really get that back until he had that feud with The Miz, where that awesome, if you haven't seen that feud that he had with Miz on SmackDown for the Intercontinental title. Oh, so good. All those matches were really good. And they rebuilt him in no time. People have to know that there's at least the inclination that maybe you might be able to pull this thing out, or maybe that there's a shock or a surprise of what's going on. After a while, people stop being invested and people are just there to make noise. So we've got the champ going against the fly-in from this other place, or the indie darling of the moment, or the guy who's got a contract, but he's not such a big deal in his contract company where he can't take a loss. They're going to go out there. They're going to do 15 minutes worth of stuff. Ooh, yay, this is awesome. Nah, 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 nah. Guy goes over. Yada, yada. They do the handshake. Oh, my God, this is the greatest guy that I've ever gone against. Yada, 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 and everything like that. After a while, it's like the movie that you've seen 1,000 times before. Like, I can watch Coming to America 1,000 times. I know all the lines. You know what I'm saying? So I'm saying all the lines before the characters are getting the lines off. I know all the parts. And that's what some wrestling matches start to feel like after a while. Somebody will catch fire for a little bit. It'll be the new indie guy at the moment. They do all their rounds around all the big indie companies. And then it turns into, so what now? So you've had all the matches that you can have with everybody. There's no major storyline that keeps people gripped and held tight to you to want to see you do. So now, all right, let's just move on to the next guy. Effie built a connection with people, so that's why he stays on top. Effie's good about creating and generating interest in a very different way, so he stays on top. When Eddie Kingston was in the Indies, Eddie had a way of being able to talk you into thinking like this was the most important thing that was going on in his life at the time. And some of those times he was not lying. He was being very real with you at the time. And great storylines across the board in a bunch of different places and whatnot. Like he was one of those guys that got it. And people wonder why they endure like that, and they think it's the matches, and it's like they're hellacious performers, but like it's bigger than the matches in a lot of those cases with them. And I don't want to be one of those kind of performers where we're just here for the chance and then we go home. I want you to care about what I got going on and feeling like we're in this moment where if I lose, that's the most crushing thing in the world. And if we win, we won together. Like we did something together. Or if you hate me, that felt so good, honestly, at the end of the Uncharted premiere. I won't lie. From a creative aspect, I never got my ass handed to me that whole season, right? Nobody could touch me. Stuff would happen, but nobody could get a hold of me as long as they needed. So, Merrick, bloody, bleeding, battered, the whole nine, and then just proceeds to beat the shit out of me for like the last 3 or 4 minutes of the match. I don't even really get anything in. Like, he's just beating the fuck out of me. And then he staples me at the end of it. But it's the way that place came up and how happy it was. It's like, yes, somebody finally beat. I've been waiting to see him get his ass beat all this time. Thank you, Lord Jesus. That's what it's all about. I remember them talking about it in the back, and it's like, you sure you don't want to give yourself like a near fall or anything like that? Why? They came here to see something happen, and it's like, we've been telling this story the whole time that in a physical contest, I can't stand up to this dude. I can cunning my way through it. I can strategize my way through it. But if we had to knock down, drag it out, no, I wouldn't be able to stand up to this dude. So while on the tail end of it, when he's feeling it and he's feeling no pain, am I coming through and I'm hitting 5 million near falls because I got to get my stuff off so y'all can say this is awesome and go back and forth. Like, let's go Sugar, let's go Merrick. No, I need them to hate me and I need them to love him by the end of it. When it's over, I need them to be happy I got my ass whooped, and I need them to look at him from here as to here because they know they got that dog in them. That's the stuff I love to see. And I think they've made it more to the point of you got to go out there and have that banger, man, instead of like actually letting artists be artists and letting them grow and let them become a little bit more, which is troubling because when a lot of these guys are trying to go get contracts now, you notice in some cases, they're like, well, why aren't they pushing them? They're not getting the same push that they was getting on the indies, or they're not doing this with them. The indies wasn't teaching them how to tell stories. The indies wasn't teaching them how to work cameras. If you're not working the certain indies, they're not teaching you how to work cameras. They're not teaching you how to tell that story. They're not teaching you how to slow down. They're not teaching you how to save certain spots for certain things so you get a certain reaction. So then you get to these places that specialize in doing the little things. No, we don't need you to do all that. Hey, what's going on with your footwork? Do you know where the 2 floor cameras at versus the hard cam? Hey, do you know that if you come in 30 seconds less in your match instead of going 30 seconds over, we have to fill that time, so we play your replays so they get to see all the cool shit that you did during your match again while you're doing all your little beauty shots to eat up time. Do you know how to edit your match on the fly where you had 8 minutes, but now something's changed, so you got 3. So can you still hit all the beauty spots in your match and still make it compelling without needing all the excess? Jesus. A lot of places aren't teaching that. They just want you to go out there and kill it, man.
And that's a lot to learn if you've never been taught or shown any of that shit.
You need that time. And like you need that time and you need that seasoning. And a lot of people are getting pulled without that seasoning, and then they get into those big TV situations. And then you got people that are sitting down there wondering like, well, they're a bust or they're not what I thought they were and all this other stuff like that because they didn't get time to really do it, or they got a lot but they just weren't taught the little things yet as to how to move. Because you notice, and both of y'all probably watch enough indie wrestling to notice this. One of my favorite things, and I hate to see it, but it's something I love. I love people learning. Watch somebody that got signed, did like a good year at a company or a few years, and then watch them get released, or have them take an indie booking and then come back and watch them work when they come back, and see how totally different and on a different level their work is based off of what they taught them. I went to NGW. And it was Trey Miguel and Zach Wentz versus Myron and Jordan Oliver.
Yeah.
Yep. I picture that tag match just even 3 years ago. And it was wow. They were all over the place. Everything like that. Oh. Their match was just as compelling, just as good, just as crazy, just as all over the place. But like it was the pacing, it was the posing, it was the time they took, it was finding the camera angles, it was all that other stuff like that. That match was unreal. Like I just remember being at the curtain, and when all four of them came back, I was like, y'all, like there's no way y'all would have had that same tag match 3 years ago. And I mean that as like such a compliment to like how much they've grown as performers since then. And it's like the difference between like when you hear a rapper and it's like it's just all spit. You know they can flow, but then they get in there with a producer, like somebody that like can produce. It was Justin in NSYNC versus Justin when Future Sex Love Sounds came out. That was an artist. When that came out. I was like, oh Lord, like this ain't even the same dude. Like classic.
Night and day.
Yeah, man. So, and I look at that kind of stuff, and the thing is, even if I never sign a deal, even if I never get close to anything ever again, because AEW was probably like the closest I was to like being that close to like that life and whatnot. I learned a lot of things, good and bad, but I learned a lot of things. That said, even if I never get close, I can't stress enough to people, just worry. Don't be so worried about trying to get the deal. Don't be so worried about trying to get paid. Don't be so worried about trying to get the spot off or the gift off. Worry about being the absolute best that you can at your craft and always getting better, and you'll never have to worry for anything. Because even if you're just working high-level indies, even if you are the go-to when it comes to extra work, hell, even if we go back to what we were talking about, where it's like you do get your opportunity, you're already ready. Just be good at the craft. That's that Denzel line that he was talking about. Everybody always points out that part from Denzel where the interview he had with Jamie Foxx, because the two lines that always get gifted are like, "I'm leaving with something," or the whole "Get your hands off me." That part.
That's a great interview.
The line that nobody clips from that same interview, but should be clipped like often. He said an actor's brand is not how many likes it got. Was it any good? That's what anybody worries about. It's like, cause sometimes, it'd be some stuff where it ain't nobody saw it, but they knew it was good.
Yeah.
And they'll make a move off of it being good. It wasn't how many likes it got.
Yep.
And the other thing that I popped for that he said was, there's a difference between I see this guy everywhere and man, I can't wait to see him again.
I heard him say something else in another interview. It sounds so Denzel.
He got so many. Go ahead.
Why you don't do movies more often? And he said it's about the quality, not the quantity. So
QOQ, quality over quality. Yo,
but that's real talk though. We were talking about all of the three of us. We were talking about a star before we started recording. And she like we said, sometimes there's some people where internet again, they'll be over here like, well, I don't understand why they signed such and such and everything like that when such and such is out on the indies and they're doing this and they're doing that and everything. It ain't always about who got internet buzz. Sometimes if you work in the right company or the right area, like I'll give you a great example of somebody that people talk about, and he had no kind of indie buzz to start with. Dax Harwood. from FTR. Dax was a Georgia wrestler. KC McKnight and Jimmy Rave took a shine to him. And Georgia gave him a lot. Like, they just saw a lot of good prospects with him because, you know, he was doing some stuff in North Carolina, moved to Georgia. Mm-hmm. They just were giving him matches, and he was really good for being really early. Jimmy Rave took a shine to him, got him in at a lot of different places around Georgia and whatnot. And the most important part, got him seen by a lot of people at the right places. These are companies in Georgia that people wouldn't even think to go to try to work. But because Jimmy knew people that knew people, people saw him. They signed him, and he blew his knee out after he got signed. And he's like you see the big knee brace. That's what that was from. He sat on the injured reserve list with a contract and then came back and killed it. No indie buzz whatsoever. They paired him up with Cash, and the rest is history. Yeah. There's some really good wrestlers. A lot of people don't put that to mind sometimes. There's a lot of really good wrestlers who had no indie buzz whatsoever.
Yes.
But they were coachable. They had the right trainers. They were having killer matches. They just weren't getting on at like the super indies, or didn't know who to talk to, or just weren't worried about that. Or if you work at places like Reality of Wrestling, Monster Factory, Wrestle Pro, things of that nature, they know all the people to talk to. So like it turns into one of those guys, hey man, I got a guy. You know what I'm saying? He this tall, this build, this, that, and the third. And a lot of times it ain't about all them gifts that you got or whatever it is. It's like, is he coachable? Can he learn? They send him to that tryout. They kill it. They sign him. And the rest is history. You got to get it in whatever lane that you get, but there's a million ways to go ahead and do it. Cedric Alexander would show up to dark matches at CZW, Evolve, Dragon Gate USA, all sorts of places. They gave Cedric no play until he got PWG. Cedric didn't even have the indie run that he was supposed to have, because I firmly believe, and you quote me on this, Cedric could have been on that run where we could have been talking like best in the world on the indies had the Cruiserweight Classic not happen. Because then the whole deal happened where he had the match with Ibushi. Sign Cedric, and the rest is history. But like, Cedric weren't even like an indie name that long before he got signed. People don't think about this kind of stuff. I'll be watching, man. I'll be watching the board. I do. You have to.
You definitely do have to watch, because, man, that spoke right.
I don't want kids to get discouraged because they think like if they're not working beyond, or they're not working progress, or they're not working this, that they'll never get their shot. And it's like, no, you can get your shot a lot of ways. You just got to make sure it pops off the right way at the right places at the right time. There's a lot of ways to get it. You just have to figure out what your way is for you.
That's very true.
Yeah.
Ooh-wee. Shit, I got to ask this, man.
Okay.
Lean in a bit. This is gonna be my last question before we go to the put yourself over moment.
Okay, here we go.
Rock or Stone Cold?
Oh wow. It's gonna be the Rock though. They're both important. They're both important for like. You can't have one without the other when it's all said and done. But when I just think about like the moments I personally prefer, like, look, let me put it this way. The Rock could have did the beer truck. Stone Cold Steve Austin couldn't have did the church shoes elbow.
That's true.
I think about stuff like that all the time. It's like when we do, if you have to make me compare two bad ones, could I have interchanged what the other one was doing and still got the same effect? And there's some things where I feel like if The Rock was doing what Austin was doing, it could have worked out. Right. But there's some stuff that Austin was doing, it weren't going, easy big fella. Not with Austin. Hollywood Rock. Just the whole Hollywood Rock run. Like Austin couldn't have did that.
Could not pull that off.
No, not the easy big fella. Hold on,
Rock was cutting up. You don't remember the promo like Lillian, you get wet with perspiration when the Rock show. I'll be like, whoa. It's wild to think about that stuff at the time, but it's like, no, he was talking crazy. He was talking out of control.
Randomly out of nowhere, and then pat his leg like, what?
Yes.
You watching now? You like for real, Rock?
The all leather fit with the all leather fit, like nah,
crazy.
Like that's what I'm saying. So it's like there's a lot of stuff that Rock could have did that Austin did. You know, I'll take it from here, nurse. He could have did that with the bedpan, all that other stuff like that. But ain't no way Austin was doing some of the stuff that Rock was pulling off. It just weren't gonna happen.
Oh man, you know what? Just think stuff that can't be pulled off like you should.
Oh God,
these interviews. Nah, man, you good. I ain't gonna say that.
I'm always waiting for the other shoe to drop, bro.
If not. Man, come on, Suge. I always give you flowers when I see you. This moment here, you know, we call this what we've been doing this whole time, the put yourself over moment. You know, if y'all don't know social media, we just want you to give them your social media, ways they can support you, ways they can buy some of your stuff. Do you got stickers? I'm collecting stickers. I need some stickers.
I feel like I used to have stickers. I need to get back into the sticker game. Before I go, you know what? I'm glad you mentioned that. I know just who to call, like, to get back into the sticker game and everything like that. For the record, it's crazy now when everybody be talking about put yourself over, because the way social media be acting nowadays, it's like, I kind of just wish some of y'all just didn't know it. I'd rather y'all just not know it, but you know, y'all be acting up. But I'm gonna put it over anyway. I'm just, you know, it's just, if you send some stuff I don't like, but I'll reserve the right. If you send some stuff I don't like, I'm just going to mute you and call it a day. Because I'm not going to block you, because y'all weird about that too. Y'all post a block. I will mute you. I got
blocked by this person I like.
Yeah, that's what kind of energy is that even on? It's just like just chill, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, chill, dog. So, at Sugar Dunkerton on Twitter. At Sugar Dunkerton, FASHO. That's pronounced for show. Okay, not face show, not for. It's for show. It's there's a thing behind that. I'll talk about that in a second. Apparently I'm back on Tumblr. Thanks, Tumblr, for all that stuff that's going on. I forget the screen name on it or whatever it is, but if you catch me, you know, heart, like some stuff, tag some stuff, whatever it is. ProWrestlingTees.com/Sugar Dunkerton. I know there was like a. Excuse me about that. I know there's like a big controversy about Pro Wrestling Tees, but you know, I still have very nice t-shirts there if anybody wants to do it. If you don't want to buy nothing off there, you don't have to feel.
Go to We Love Wrestling.
Yeah, just, you know, you don't have to feel obligated, but you know, if you want to look fresh, if you want to look fly, you can feel free to go through and do that. For marriage proposals, bookings, complaints, please.
Whoa,
like
what?
I say complaints, but please. Inquiries, all that other good stuff. SugarDunkertonBro@gmail.com. My DMs, you could also get at me on Twitter if we follow each other, I guess. I tend to get a lot of the booking requests via like Facebook Messenger, and I'm not even getting into all that Facebook stuff. You could find me, or you don't have to find me on Facebook. I'm not doing all that. But you know, those are the main places to get to. The quick anecdote, the for show thing. Once a long time ago, one of the coolest people I've ever met in life, and he actually taught me how to DJ, which is one of my favorite things to do. Like, I DJ'd on the Jericho cruise, but I learned from him. There was a cat. I used to work at Barnes and Noble in the cafe. There was a cat there who was like, I used to call him like the bookstore player. His name was Omar, and he used to always say for show. Everything was for show. It was just cool like that, you know. Everything was good. He's like, oh yeah, and he used to talk just like that too. He was like, yeah, man, you know, we about to go to the View tonight. You know, it's for show. You know, everything gonna be real for show. He was the only person I knew that had a T-Mobile sidekick. That immediately made him the coolest dude that I ever known on the planet. This dude would go to check the time and flick the sidekick screen up just to check the time or whatever it is, just to flex. And then go ahead and go back through and everything like that. He told me, oh yeah, she texted me up for sure. You know what I'm saying? For sure. But he just made it sound so cool every time he said it. So I had to put that on there. That was had to go.
Hey, you know, that's
legend.
That's for sure. You know what I'm saying? Just
go ahead
and do that for sure.
His light skinism was like high. I lost the bars, man.
I got some white skinism, but it ain't that. It's I don't know.
You're not doing enough lip licking and hand rubbing and stuff like that. Like you got like there's more to it. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying? I just be chill. You know, I don't do. You know, I try to stay away from it, but you know.
Like he got the octave because he got the low. You see him, he got the low octave and everything. But he just ain't that. He said, you know, I'm just trying to stay out of my way, stay out of trouble. You know what I'm saying? Be listening to that Drake. You know what I mean? I can't do it because the visual aspect throw everything off because the dark skinned in this.
Let's go ahead and get up out of here, man. You know, we ain't gonna even deal with that. You know, Maddie, for
another podcast for another day.
Maddie, before we go,
yeah.
I mean. You told him earlier you've been asking this. You asked for this like a year ago.
Yes, I'm so thankful. Thank you for taking this time, Suge. I really
of course.
appreciate it. Looking forward to seeing more of you. So please don't stop.
I'm gonna keep going until I can't. So barring any kind of craziness, I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna be on it.
I appreciate you. Thank you for taking the time.
Thank you so much.
Good. I'm gonna see you at another event. I always see you out there. You know what I'm saying? It's always great to see any match you have. You talk to people into the match before the match even happens. And
that's the whole point of this, man. Absolutely.
I very much so appreciate that. Well, Maddie, I got to ask this before we go. I'm gonna let you do the closing after you answer this though. Suge, 3 people. You done had a match with everybody out here. But is it 3 people out here that's been disrespecting you? Because I see some people disrespecting you out here. That you need to have a match with, or you want to have a match with, just to show them they need to put more respect on your name.
Put some respect on me.
Oh, well, I mean, it only need to be 3. I know you gave me 3, but it's gonna be one person the whole time. I'm gonna get one of the matches I want anyway, so I can't say because JTG gonna give me back my fanny pack. It's gonna happen. So that's already booked for North Carolina. We gonna take care of that. I promise I would not go back to California without that fanny pack, and I believe that. That said,
words for you too.
That what?
Yeah,
I know. Tyler Perry extra ain't talking. I know he not.
He had some words for you when he came on about the fanny pack.
Oh no!
I'm sorry. I
you little whack ass. All right, I'll deal with him later. As for them three spots, Faye Jackson. She need to stop faking and milking this little injury that she got going on. Come on, she need to do them little rolls, all that other stuff like that. That's the one match I've been wanting to whoop her ass for some time. Like some time. Like she been traumatizing me. She's a part of the reason why I lost the fanny pack. She connived her way through that little spaces deal or whatever it is to get a not guilty verdict. She just been causing me all sorts of loss and trauma and issues. And I just want to smack her around a little bit. I want to exercise the intergender rules of wrestling, and I want to turn into Ike Turner for one day and just karate chop her into nothingness. So she can get all 3 spots. Okay? And you can tell I said it. And for that match, I want to reach out to Anderson .Paak, and I want to get a clearance just so I can loop him saying this bitch over and over to like a club beat. If we can do that. If we can get the what's it called? What is the Crystal Water song that Lottie D Gypsy Woman? If we can get that beat and I can get the sample of him saying this bitch over and over again to that song, that way I got something I can do a little step to while that's playing, then that's perfect.
Oh my God.
La da dee da da da. This bitch got to go. Coming out there. Yeah.
If y'all still here, y'all know these lead to somewhere. So he just called somebody out who's coming soon to the podcast. So we'll play that clip so she can hear it.
Hey Faye. So what you gonna do? Now I'm looking dead in the camera. So what you gonna do, Faye? Huh? Talking to you.
I almost said something else, but I forgot. Only certain people know that. So
Anime? Huh? You hear me, woman? You hear me, Anime? You gonna sing the song the way I tell you to sing the song, Anime? You hear me? Okay, take the match.
Eat the cake.
That's exactly. Exactly.
This been going on for so long. Creep Squad, host some games, Suge, Faye. The match has to happen. Yeah, let's get out of here before I say something. He just threw me off with that. Faye, all 3 spots?
All 3. I told you that she's the only one I want to smoke with like that bad. Like that badly.
All right. Nice. Maddie, you can take us out.
It's hit 'em up. It's hit 'em up energy every time I see Faye Jackson. Every time I see like that song come on in my head every time, man.
Well, make sure y'all subscribe, like, comment, and of course, if I love wrestling, you love wrestling, and we love wrestling.
Yes, we do.
And it's too sweet. Nah, for the culture.
Yep.
Tell me when to go.
Wrestling, and you love wrestling, then we. You're not here, you missing out. Is this show?